And I actually didn't realise there was such a problem with plastics in the ocean until about 7.5 years ago. And I've always walked the beach and I've never seemed to have noticed it before. But one day I was just out walking on one of our remote beaches and I come across all these like little cotton bud sticks. And I was quite disgusted. I thought they must have come off a ship. And then I found out actually they were coming from our local sewage treatment plant via the ocean outfall, and that just really horrified me that our own town was having that impact on the ocean. And I mean, it wasn't actually the first time, I didn't actually even think at the time to pick them up, which is that, but when I'd walked home, I thought, I could actually maybe go back and collect them. It was just a little bit of a change in thought. Like I always, I shouldn't say always, but at one stage I would have, well, up until that point, I would have walked along and just gone, someone should do something about that. And that's what I did. I was walking home and go, someone should really do something about that.
Yeah.
And then I thought, actually I could go back tomorrow with the bag and pick those up. And then and that's how it started, and then it just kept going, and now we're got an awesome bunch of volunteers, and we're still picking up rubbish off the beach every day.
That's so awesome. Yeah. Just that first, mindset of, okay, instead of just thinking, it's someone else's responsibility, just taking action, and that led you on such an incredible journey that we'll get to very shortly. Millie, what about you?
I've always had quite a connection with the land where I've lived, that I've lived in several different places, and I've always been, my family have been very much into activism on various things, whatever has impacted the area we are in. And then coming here to Port Fairy, my family's lived here for several generations, and I really did connect with that, and I have found my voice with my activism. And right now, that a while ago I was out at a cafe with my grandpa, and Ben came in and they had a conversation about seismic blasting, which is something I'd never heard of before. And I went home and I was, what is this thing? And researched and was horrified that anyone would think that was a good idea to do. And have kind of found my way from there with hearing from these amazing people.
Yeah, I love that intergenerational community change, so incredible. And Ben, over to you. So what was your sort of, connection to the ocean here, and how did you get started on your journey?
Yeah, well, I was lucky enough to be born in Port Fairy. Grew up in this amazing community that we have, and it's surrounded by the natural beauty that is Port Fairy. So I think from early on I was really feeling connected with the natural world. I was lucky enough that my father was a surfer and picked this place because of the surf, and so I've spent from the age of 5 pretty much permanently in the water when it's any good. And that's a real connection. When you're under the water, in that water, and seeing the natural world every day, you really do cherish that connection. So I just really wanted to protect that.
What's your favourite surf break? Not that I'm going to steal it and head out there tomorrow morning.
I'll show you one day.
Yeah, I've heard that about this part of the world. It's a very secret thing to, We got told, we did a workshop with the Stoke Surf Therapy on Monday night, and then a few people were like, you need to go to this surf break Tuesday morning, it's going to be the best spot. And we're the only ones there, because I think they were all going somewhere else and we're getting false information. So I mean, you can't win with Cooper, who's at the back, who was a pro surfer, and we're dropping on everyone. So everyone's trying to keep it on the Jamo, but I'll pick you up after the so good. And Colleen, I'll just jump over to you. So one of the things that I learned through this film and the process and journey was the real strong nature of community. Community, I think that's something that all of you touched upon. The fact that you guys got connected just from a cafe just shows that this community in Port Fairy is just so incredible. Would you be able to talk a bit about the beach patrol, what you're doing now, and sort of the community that you're a part of with that?
Thanks. Our beach patrol group has just grown over the years, and people come and go depending on, what's going on in their lives for it. It's like very organic and quite freelance the way people get involved in beach patrol. We have an app called Litter Stopper where we record our cleanup. So some people might just use that on their daily walks. So we're always collecting data of what's actually washing up on our beaches. We have a really strong Facebook group where we share what we're finding. But it's one of those things, like a lot of people in our area, they're living here because they do love the ocean. So once things got
change than just fighting one project at a time. And I think that's been kind of the power of the movements that I've been involved with, is that there is a really clear narrative to follow for the public. We don't try and do too many things. We don't try and achieve too many things. We like to state a really achievable goal that people can get behind and just keep on with that message. It doesn't have to be complicated. And so we've picked a particular project here which was originally proposed for just kilometres off our coastline to blast our oceans, to search for oil and gas and turn this into the new western frontier for oil and gas. I remember being at the first community meeting run by the proponent where he said, it's not if this project goes ahead, it's how and when. And I said, well, have you considered social licence? Yes, of course I've considered social licence. I think he's still considering it 2 years later because it's a thing. And I think that if one thing is true that I've learned over being involved with community activism over the time, is that when people lead, leaders follow. And Zali Steggall said that on in other words on that movie. And it's so true. If you just keep on writing to your representatives, keep bringing them, keep visiting them, keep saying the same thing, eventually they can't ignore you.
Yeah, so good. And Amelia, I guess on that note, would you be able to talk about a bit of the, work that you're doing as a young person to sort of make your voice heard in this community?
Well, I have tried several different things here. That I've kept in touch with Ben and others and found out when protests are happening, when photos are happening, when these meetings are happening, and showing up and being a number and helping prove the amount of people who do care about this. I've done my research and learnt from Ben, and I've emailed politicians, both local government members and up. I entered this competition called Videos for Change, and I did a video on seismic blasting, and that was sent to Parliament House and various things like that. And most recently I've been a part of this local council initiative called Green Futures Now, which I am not sure if it's open yet this year, but it's where you can apply, and it's made for local youth to be able to learn how to have their voices heard and pick an issue which they want to pursue and make a difference with it. That last year we did a rubbish competition, which Colleen, you were a part of, where we got people out on the beaches and you had to pick up rubbish and make art with it, and then we did an exhibition. And the amount of people that we got, I think 480 people went to this exhibition, and that's 480 people who have learnt and who now know some of that impact. And I'm helping with that again this year. But yeah, I've just shown up to things, really.
Yeah,
You've done more than that.
I'm sure you've done a lot more than that.
She's amazing.
I might actually ask as well, which I love asking this question when I was travelling. If you had a magic wand and could do anything in the world right now as a young person here in Port Fairy and in this community, what would you do?
I would probably stop it at the source and create a renewable power source that can eradicate fossil fuels, gas and oil and all of the others, so that things like seismic blasting and the drilling and pollution, that it simply isn't necessary anymore, and it isn't profitable for these organisations to go ahead with these sorts of things, and just stop it there. But I also would like to say that even though we don't have a magic wand, we can make our difference. And if it's okay, I would like to try something with the audience.
Yeah.
That could I have one volunteer from the audience? That could you do it? Could you yell, "We can"? Just you. Yell.
We can.
And now, can the whole audience yell that?
We can!
See the difference that makes, and that every single voice, big or small, it does mean the more voices there are, the more we will be heard on whatever topic it is you are interested in and want to pursue. That sometimes it may seem you're alone and you're fighting this endless battle, but you're not alone, that there's wonderful other members of this community, and that together we can make a difference. And I just wanted to make that point as well.
I'm really getting lost for words in the room. I'm lost for words. That is so. Does anyone have any questions for any of the panelists? We don't have a mic, but we can sort of. Yeah,
no, we do.
Oh, we do have a mic also. Trying you guys off your feet.
I observed on a video, now I don't know how accurate this is, but it was said to be accurate, that in Singapore they have spent billions and billions on some massive furnace. And into that furnace they put absolutely all waste. And the heat is so intense that it breaks down into ash. Now, within that, it somehow, whatever's inside this massive furnace, there are no emissions when there's something released after all this, and the ash is then used to resurface roads and everything like that. Now, why aren't countries doing things like that?
I mean, I could probably jump in. Yeah, that's the exciting reality that we live in now, that there is so much innovation, there's so many different ideas, and they actually also use that gas and that energy that when they burn the waste to actually turn that into energy to power their city. So there are so many amazing things, you know, in Europe, in Singapore, and it's really exciting for Australia because we are not there yet. We've got such a great opportunity to really take action and create these solutions as well.
Is it because of the money that countries aren't following this example? We're talking about billions for nuclear plants and submarines. Why aren't other countries following this?
I mean, I think it probably goes back to what Amelia said, you know, finding ways to sort of speak with those people in your council which sort of look after the waste and seeing what opportunities there are. I mean, I can't speak for this community, but I know where I live in Sydney, our landfill's about to overfill. So where I am in the Sutherland Shire, we've got the only landfill in all of Sydney, and it's only a few years off being completely full. And so Sydney's going to not have a landfill. So we really need to try to rethink our ways, rethink all these different circular ways to try to reduce our emissions as
I
well.
will say also we spoke today in our council plan development about incinerators. Sorry.
I'll stand up. It's interesting actually, yesterday and today we've started the process of developing our new 4-year council plan. And today we spoke about incinerators actually. It's not something that this council could do on its own, and it's not something that's going to happen tomorrow or this council term. It's a bit of a ways down the future, and it is something that if it were to be considered, we would have to have multiple neighbouring shires jump on with us. But it's innovation, why not? Why can't we look into it? Why can't we lay the foundations now for our future generations?
G'day, I'm Chris Ward. I'm a Port Fairy regenerative farmer, and I'd just like to firstly thank the council on one side and then give them a bit of a tip where they could lift their game. So we were fortunate enough to be recipients of the CCCP program, and the council offset, as anyone doesn't know, they offset the emissions of their fleet by financially contributing to the planting of gum trees, and we were lucky enough to get 5,000 eucalypts, which we put around a wetland we restored on our farm, just 3 k's north of Port Fairy, and without their contribution, the wetland wouldn't have happened, the trees wouldn't have happened. And I'd encourage anybody who can get in touch with the council and say there's so much potential for that program to be expanded. You would have 10 times the people apply for the trees that actually get the trees. And a bit of background in farming, in the 80s, before we'd heard about climate change, farmers got free trees, and they were actually paid. We took a Polaroid photo and we were paid to fence them off and they knew it was important for the environment, but nobody had a clue about climate change. Now we're in a climate emergency. We need drastic action, and you have the people who want the trees, and all we need is the councils to, the great work they're doing, increase it by an order of magnitude. This area is just crying out for trees. There's so many species have returned to some of our plantations that people didn't even know existed here, and there's just huge potential. So that's where I'd like to say thanks heaps Moyne Council on a great program with so much potential. Where I'd like to see lift your game a bit was the largest, 95% of the single-use plastics in the Moyne Shire aren't straws and red ties. They're our silage wrap. Now 5 years ago, we could take it to the Moyne tip and pay a very small fee and it would be recycled into usable products. China was doing most of that, and that market collapsed, and the Moyne has been working for 5 years, and that's an area, well, with one breath I'm saying thanks so much Moyne, in the other breath I'm saying really got to lift your game on silage wrap. It's just an order of magnitude more plastic than anything used domestically in landfill. But thanks again for the trees.
Just on that point, is Carly in the
I was
house?
going to bring that up.
Where is she? Stand up, Carly. And just talk briefly about what you're doing as a community member.
I was really excited to hear you talking about planting so many trees on your farm. Because, I've just got a little property, 18 acres out at Rosebrook, just out of Port Fairy a bit. And when we moved here, it was devoid of trees except for a few big old cypress trees, which were the original trees planted here when the first settlers set up on that property. And ever since I've been there, I've been gradually planting more and more native trees, indigenous to this area historically, because I care a lot about restoring natural ecosystems and trying to reverse climate change. Grow a lot of my own trees from seed that I've collected myself, because it can be done in a way that doesn't cost money if you know how to do it. And I learned a lot of that about how to grow my own trees from my parents, because they used to own a plant nursery when I was growing up. So I used to help them a lot and get paid a little bit of pocket money for doing it as well. Recently, I wanted to try to help more people in our community to be able to do that sort of stuff too if they're interested, and to try to make the impact that I was having in my local area much bigger, broader, by helping other people, educating them about how they can do this sort of thing too, and showing them that not only was it didn't have to cost any money, but it was also actually really easy as long as you knew what to do. And so recently, just last year, we've set up a little community area at the Port Fairy Sea Scouts Hall backyard, and we gather there often, like every week or two, and people come along and just help out with planting seeds and growing our little trees, and we're doing as much as we can in our spare time that we have, and it's a lovely little community atmosphere there, but we also are aiming to grow trees not just for ourselves to plant on our own properties, but also to be able to give away to people who have larger properties across the whole Moyne district and further afield if they're interested too. And there's only so many trees we can grow, but we just want to give them away for free to people to plant as many trees as we can across the district that are indigenous to the area historically, and to try to make a difference. So.
And your goal is to give away more trees than Moyne Shire, just with a group of 3 or 4 people.
Yeah.
Great sort of time.
Can I just respond to the agricultural waste that we're talking about, the silage wrap and baling twine, and obviously we've been in an agricultural drought, so feeding has been a major issue, and the plastics are a byproduct of the agriculture industry, which is huge here in the Great Southwest. Sustainable Plastic Solutions, which is a privately owned company in Southern Grampians Shire are doing collections for bale twine and silage wrap, and they are cleaning the product and reducing it back down into pellets and producing the same product from that. So I'd encourage you to get in touch with Southern Grampians and they will point you in the right direction.
Yeah, perhaps we could get a sign for that the tip, because the farmers sort of just were taking it to landfill.
That possibly needs to go to council because we can't essentially advertise what's happening in Southern Grampians. I work in waste education, so I'm just letting you know you can approach Southern Grampians to see where you can find a drop point that's close to you or a collection that might suit you.
If I could just say, out in the Nullawarre area, I lived out there for 20 odd years, and a lot of silage wrap was burnt in those days. Farmers pay a fee to take the rubbish to the tip. When they take the silage wrap, they're actually charged more. And I just always thought, well, you know, that's a real incentive for farmers to take their rubbish to the tip when they feel as though they're paying the tip fee. And then when they do take the rubbish, they get charged further. So I think shires and councils could possibly change those rules, maybe increase their tip fee, yearly tip fee to cover the silage.
This community change in action, I love it.
I think I would say, just to Carly's point, I would like to highlight Carly actually, I spoke about him today. And we spoke about I'm going to get this wrong, the carbon offset program. It's $50,000 a year. $50,000 is what council deems is the budget that we'll put towards this climate offset program, and it is oversubscribed every year, vastly oversubscribed. That means that the amount of people that apply for it far outweighs the amount of money and in turn trees that we give out. To me, we need to increase that amount. Seems simple enough. However, I'm just one of 7 voices. The best thing you can do is email your councillors. They are just people and you elected them and they work for you. And I think that communities sometimes forget that. Your councillors work for you. You're the employers. And I spoke today also, money, trees, that's great, but I think that there is more that councils can be doing in this space in terms of removing red tape, becoming a bit of a conduit, so that when community-led initiatives such as Carly's with Grow Free Port Fairy, let's not get in the way. Let's help with providing a space to do it. Let's help with connecting people who want to grow and give away trees for free. Let's connect them to the people that want them. I think that councils need to get a little bit more, and communities, I guess. Let's get smarter. We're clever. We're a clever species. We can do things better. But don't forget that your council works for you. And I would really encourage you freely access all of our emails and phone numbers, and just don't forget that silage wrap is a nightmare, and we need to do better. So.
Thanks. So good.
I think someone over there is patiently waiting. Anyone else? Come on, we've got it. We're all friends.
We'll go to you next. Yeah.
What would you guys recommend is the best renewable energy? Because there's hydropower, solar power, wind power and stuff. What would you recommend is the most efficient?
Most efficient is a different question to what I'd recommend. I'm no energy expert at all, but the thing that I get pretty excited about is rooftop solar and just, I guess, the ability to get some ownership and independence off the grid and sort of think about the freedom that gives you. But I don't know if there's any particular things down here that Ben, you might be able to.
That's my other hat. I do work in the electricity space.
Perfect.
There's the answer to your question is it's a mix. It's a mix of things. Different things work at different times. There's no one solution here. We have to have a grid that's dynamic and adjusts from season to season and different times of the day, different things are required. One of the things that has been exciting me lately is that idea of it's sunny in Western Australia when it's dinner time and peak demand here, and people are doing it all over the world. Why don't we connect the grids up? Like, that solves a lot of problems because battery storage, grid storage is expensive. So yeah, the wind's not always blowing, the sun's not always shining, but it's always shining somewhere. And I think that geographic diversity is a big one. And another big thing that's coming is cars, electric cars, because they can power your house as well and feed into that, that independence from the grid. So the grid's good, but independence from the grid is also good.
Awesome. Multi-talented, man. You've got so many.
So we're doing a t-shirt.
Did you have a question?
No, I changed my mind.
You had it answered. Awesome. Are there any other questions? Oh, yeah.
I know you're talking about the batteries in the cars and renewable energy. How are we to dispose of them? And how are we to dispose of the wind farms? When they are...
I don't want to open a can of worms here. Just briefly, the easiest thing to say about that is that batteries are 100% recyclable. Okay, whether the economics stack up right now or not, in the end, that will be part of the circular economy. And one thing is for certain, fossil fuels are not part of the circular economy. They're used once and discard the waste, which we don't know what to do with. So, sustainable technologies like batteries, are worlds ahead, and the potential there is for a circular economy.
Awesome. I might just ask everyone one more final question to wrap up and then hand over to the amazing council staff that are here. What is your advice to everyone here to sort of rise up and take action and do either get involved or some final pieces of advice?
Well, mine would be connect with the community, that go to websites like Fight for the Bite or Ocean or Beach Patrol and see what's going on near you, and whether there's a petition going on you can sign, or a beach pickup you can go to, or a protest to attend, and start networking with these people because they know so much and they can help so much and help guide you in your climate journey.
Well said, Miriam. I can't add much more than that, other than to thank people like Cal for all that you do and all that you will do, and Amelia as well for the long future you have ahead of you to do great things, because community is really important, but community are individuals, and we all have responsibility to take that first step, to take single steps. So don't despair, take the first step, and even that little thing makes a difference.
Awesome.
Yeah, I would say don't be fixated on the outcome and just have faith. Just keep going with whatever you're doing. If you haven't started, just make a start, because you don't know where things are going to lead. As I said, like me just picking up some cotton buds one day off the beach has led to this amazing group of beach warriors that so many people are out doing it. It's just fantastic. So, and we can't at the moment. We haven't stopped the rubbish washing in, but I guess one success we did have was actually to stop the plastic cotton buds washing in. So we had them from our campaign out of Warrnambool and our group, we managed to get the state government to ban plastic stem cotton buds, and that might not mean much to that many people, but that's like 8 million plastic stem cotton buds a day not going into landfill or not being in our waterways. So that's just one bit of plastic, but I think it's just like working on one thing at a time as well. Like right now with our bottles project, our report on our plastic foreign bottles at the moment is being discussed by the IMO, which is the International Marine Authority, And at the moment, they're actually writing the new legislation for worldwide shipping, and that's with our report. So it's just like, there's just things like that, we're just like a small community, and you don't, but it's amazing what can happen, and just by reaching out to people, I just sort of like you did in your film, you're like, hey, that person, I want to meet that person. They're awesome. And just not thinking of yourself as being small, like who am I to do that? You're just like, just go for stuff. And
just give it a crack.
Yeah.
There's nothing to lose. Yeah. So good. Well, I'm sure you can all agree. I feel so much more hopeful about the future now. So it's been such an incredible conversation with everyone, and I would just like to wrap up and say that everyone here has taken the first step. Coming out here on a Wednesday night can be the start of your journey. Maybe you're already on the journey. There's been a lot of people using the clothing recycling outside. Thanks to Apparel for that. I reached out to Nick and I was like, hey, I'm going to do the Great Ocean Road. And he's like, oh yeah, if people want to recycle clothes, do that for free. So thanks to them, and thanks Pure Hops for the free ice cream. And of course, big thanks to Warrenshire Council and the Film Society here for hosting this amazing event. I've learned so much. I can't wait to go back to Sydney and talk about all the things I've learned tonight. And for tomorrow as well, there are any young people that are interested in the Blue Minds workshops that we're doing one tomorrow evening. And then if you've got friends that are keen to watch the film, we've got 3 more film screenings here on the Great Ocean Road this week. So one tomorrow night in Waterpool, Friday at Deacon's, if you know any Deacon's students, and then Saturday in Ocean Grove. I'll keep touring this film and go across the country. So thank you so much. It's been such an amazing evening. And big round of applause.